Is This a Ghost is brought to you by Pickney Bend Distillery. Now, we keep saying this, but now it's really, now Thanksgiving is really getting close.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost here. It's about a week away as the listener flies. Pat, what are you thankful for this year?
Oh, I mean, I'm thankful for our continued unwavering support from Pickney Bend.
Yeah,
obviously that's the big one.
It is a big one. That's surprising.
Yeah.
It is surprising. They got the determination of Christopher Columbus over there, forging across the ocean.
Yeah. And second would probably be, I guess, my kids.
Yeah, but in that order, right?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Okay, good. Unlike your kids, Pickney Bend is not tied to you by blood, and so that's a really important bond. So thank you to Pickney Bend for not getting. So last week we talked about fascist uncles. Week before we talked about smallpox. So and we haven't heard any negative things from them.
Yeah. So I mean, we're those two little velociraptors testing the fences, and we haven't found a hole yet.
No, I can't wait to find what next week brings. But we are grateful for Pickney Bend Distillery, and we want you to be grateful for them as well. We think you would really like what they've got to offer. So you can check them out, PINCKNEYBEND.com. Now, they don't ship anywhere, and that's challenging, but that's not their fault. That's the state of Missouri's fault. That's Governor Parsons' fault. And so we encourage you to write letters to Mike Parsons and let him know that you think that Pickney Bend should be available outside of state lines. And that might work.
Yeah. Let him know how many tens of dollars you're willing to spend to ship whiskey out of his state.
Yeah. Yeah.
I bet if he gets a few of those letters, he'll change his mind.
It's possible.
He's not very busy.
No, he's not. He doesn't do much. So, but thank you to Pickney Bend, and go try out their gins. They're some of the best in the world. And there's some, I'll tell you this, they're the most patient distiller probably, I guess, ever in terms of ad reads, etc. So,
and you know, in the world of distillery, patience is the name of the game.
That's right. That's right.
So,
yeah. So you're getting the good stuff when you're getting someone as patient with their alcohol as they are with us. So check out Pickney Bend, and we are grateful. Thank you, Pickney Bend, for your ongoing support. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Is This a Ghost? I'm Clayton Smith, and every week I tell a real ghost story from real history to my real friend Patrick Dean, who looks great.
I
normal and great.
I feel exactly how I look. I feel like I've.
What's going on?
Oh, not much. I decided I had too many teeth.
Yeah, you had surgery this week. Yesterday, right?
Yesterday, yeah, 24 hours ago, I had a very high percentage of my teeth taken out.
Like more than 5%?
How many teeth are you supposed to have?
7?
Let me Google it. Because I don't know.
7 or 8.
How many teeth should you have? 30, 28, 32, 8, and okay, you're supposed to have
32.
Hang on, there's a lot of math going on this webpage.
Okay.
All right, you're supposed to have 28.
Okay.
So I had 6 take. No. You're supposed to have 32. Sorry, you're supposed to have 32 teeth.
Yeah.
Right, and then you can have some of them taken out if it's getting too busy. So
you had 30. You had 6 taken out of 30. No, but you had 38.
I had 32. No. See, that's where it gets tricky. I had 30.
Yeah, it is tricky.
I had 34. I had 34 teeth, and then they took 6 of them away. Out.
Gosh, you know what? That is 18%.
Is it? Yeah. So
that is a high. That's a high percentage.
High percent? Yeah.
Wow, that's almost a fifth of your teeth.
I know, right?
Wow.
Appreciate the quick math on that. Unless I'm just really heavily drugged up and you didn't do that quickly. And
I was waiting on my calculator. So which drugs are you on?
No,
just the fun ones or the boring ones?
No, just the boring ones currently. Just the boring ones. I didn't really want to turn into like a Jason Isbell song, so I decided not to do the fun ones.
Jason Isbell is popular, and that could have really helped our podcast.
Well, tune in next week because I might just find where my wife hid the bottle of pills.
Okay, so this is going to be a good night to do this.
Don't forget, I'm stone sober because I'm not allowed to drink for another several days.
Well, what is allowed to mean? You know, like what does that mean? You can.
Then I don't want to get like an infection, I guess.
Yeah, so you're allowed to.
Yeah. Yes. True. Yes, I am allowed to.
Okay.
Like cosmically.
Yeah. You're in charge of your own future.
Yes.
Well,
But
do you want me
medically not so much.
Sure.
Sure.
Do you want me to send you my notes and then you can read the story and I'll react? Because this is my I'm 2 drinks in.
No. It's gonna work good this way. It's gonna work really well, I think.
Sounds like it.
I
Your
hope.
voice sounds normal.
It probably sounds really good. Can you see how much bigger my jaw is?
It's large.
I don't have like a fisheye lens on. This is just how big my jaw is now.
You know what? Now you've got that Charles Ingalls energy that you were looking for a couple weeks ago. You should have had this done before Halloween.
Yeah, well,
you got that broad jaw.
It's funny you mention that. When I called the place and I was like, oh hey, I need to get my wisdom teeth taken. I got a referral from whatever. They were like, oh, sure. It looks like we actually, if you're interested, this is back in October. If you're interested, we have an appointment at 8:00 tomorrow morning. I said, ooh, I'm actually not emotionally prepared to do this. I was hoping you were going to say like next year sometime.
What are you doing when you're 58? Would that be a good time for you to come in?
No, it's probably a good time for me to tell you, I don't want to do this.
I think that's probably why they probably keep like a slot open every day for people like you, because they know that the longer the window between your scheduling and the actual event, that's you're gonna the likelihood of you canceling is greater and greater every day as the fear increases.
Absolutely.
So like come in right now, let's get it over with. Yeah.
Well, and that way you can also catch those impulsive tooth pullers too. You're like, you know what? I'm tired of this tooth here. Yeah.
You know, take all of them.
Yeah. Fuck it. I get a free morning.
Sometimes I think that maybe rather than going to the dentist every like 6 months or whatever and like getting cavities filled and all that stuff, I wonder what it would be like to just have all your teeth just root canaled and capped and just bionic teeth. I want Joe Biden teeth. Whatever he's got going on, that's what I want in my mouth. They look great, and I bet they do not ding for shit.
That's what my dad did. He did, as soon as he retired, the one present he bought himself was pulling all the fucking teeth out of his head.
Really?
That was it. He was like, I've dreamed of this for 20 years. I'm like, that's a weird dream.
It is. When you're younger, it seems like a weird thing to think about. But now, like the older I get, the more I'm like, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Let's just make these all fake. George Washington really had it. He had it right. Yeah. Well, this is good. So you are ready to do a podcast.
I didn't say that, but I am here.
Okay.
I am present. I feel like I'm on some sort of like a steroid regimen, maybe. That's what it kind of looks like the super puffiness, except this is all just swollen jaw here.
So you're no stronger.
No, I'm much less. I am as weak as a kitten at the moment. Yeah.
Okay. So if anyone wants to kill Patrick, this is your opportunity. You're never going to get a better chance than this.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we record these a week ahead of time, so by now you're fucked.
Yeah, but you're still weak when you get healthy. So
I'm not. It's not going to be a whole lot different. I'm as weak as like a large kitten in a week. You know.
Sorry, you said in a week, like in 7 days, and I thought you meant week, WEAK, and I was waiting for you to say more words in that sentence, and then you took a drink of water. This is good.
Yeah. I'm really excited how this is going right now. I love the Stone Sober episodes. We should really have like a whole anthology of the Stone Sober episodes.
Well, this is only a Stone Sober episode for you. I just want to reiterate that. You've made some decisions. I'm not going to say they're bad decisions because I think your health is important. However, I do think if you were really committed to the podcast, you would find a way to just shuttle the alcohol straight into your throat and bypass the teeth.
I did have that IV in yesterday. I should have just said, you know what? Can you leave this? I'll come back. I promise. But I really need.
I need like 36 hours with this thing.
Yeah.
And then I'll bring it back.
Yeah.
So, there were potential solves to this problem, and you chose none of them. That's fine. And now you are sober doing a show.
Yeah. Well, we'll get through it.
Boy, this is the episode where we lose 1,000 listeners. Well, do you want to hear a ghost story?
Would love to hear a ghost story.
Too bad, because first I have news. I have exciting news. We have a brand new sponsor for the podcast.
What?
Yes, this week, Patrick, Is This a Ghost is also brought to you by Smart Labels. And I know what you're asking yourself. What are smart labels? And why didn't Clayton tell me about this in advance?
Do they also pay in whiskey?
And I have answers for all of those things. No, they don't. But they are great. Smart labels is it's what it sounds like. It's labels that are pretty smart, and I'm very excited about them. So here's how it works.
Mm-hmm.
You get smart labels in the mail, and they're color coded QR code stickers that you can take and you can label things with them. Right?
Okay. Like dog, cat.
Yes. If you ever lose my dog, I lose my youngest child a lot, I would like to keep track of them.
Okay.
Put the labels on them. Or if you're a normal person, you can also do like Halloween decorations and Thanksgiving decorations.
For your totes. This is for your totes.
This is for your totes.
Okay. For those
for your totes. Or for your luggage that you use once every 3 years. You're like, where's that cool suitcase? Where's the cool suitcase with the wheels haven't fallen off yet? You can put a smart label on there. And here's how it works. You put the smart label on the box with all your stuff inside. You scan the QR code with the Smart Labels app. And then you can enter all the items that are in there. You can take pictures of the things in there. You can take pictures of where you put the box. So if you're like, is this in the attic? Is it in the garage, in the basement? You will know because you can look and you can see the picture. And it's great because a year from now, you put your stuff in the attic, and a year from now, you're like, where is the 12-foot tall pumpkin? I can't find the 12-foot tall pumpkin. You can go to your phone and open the app and just type in 12-foot tall pumpkin, and it will show you exactly where the box is. It will show you what the box looks like. It will show you where in your house your box is, and you will go straight to your box. You will never lose another thing again.
Time saved. I like this.
Quite a bit of time saved. They sent me some. I didn't tell you this because I didn't want you to be jealous, but they did send me some.
You got free shit? Come on.
But I'm saving you some stickers. Don't worry. Your Christmas present is going to be 2 pages of these stickers.
But see, I'm gonna lose them before I can put them on anything.
Yeah, that's why I didn't tell you. That's why I didn't give you all of them.
It's going to be a real gift of the Magi.
It's going to be. God, I would not have guessed that we would have so many Guy de Maupassant references in this podcast.
And yeah, here we are.
Here we are. You'll get some. Don't worry. It's going to be great. Just in time for Christmas to put your Christmas decorations away. But we used them for our Halloween decorations. We put them away a few weeks ago, and and now I know where everything is. And Erin was like, "Well, do we need that?" And I said, "Erin, name a Halloween decoration." And she named the wreath for the front door. We have a very cool black witch's wreath for the front door. And I typed in witch wreath, and it showed her a picture of where in the attic the box was with the witch wreath inside of it. And she said, "Oh, I get it. This is great." Yeah. So it is a truly handy thing. It's really great. It's super simple, and it's a thing that I didn't know I needed until I had it. And I'm very excited about that. So you can check out Smart Labels. You can go to their website if you want. It's qrsmartlabels.com, or it's just as easy for them. You can go to Amazon and just search Smart Labels, one word, and you'll find it. It's color-coded Smart Label stickers. They're great, super helpful. I've already proven it to my wife that it's worthwhile. So it's good. Any questions?
No, I'm excited about getting my Smart Labels. I'm already planning out what I'm gonna label.
Please do. Yeah. I think there's 16. You're gonna get 32 labels.
Okay.
So you can label 32 things. You've got 3 kids and 1 wife. So you've got 20. I'm down to 20. Things. Yes.
And coincidentally, that's how many teeth I have left. So,
real Sophie's choice. But check them out at qrsmartlabels.com, or just go to Amazon and search Smart Labels, one word. You will find them. They are great, and you need them in your life. And now, Patrick, do you want to hear a ghost story?
Now, finally.
Yeah. You can't say that. We can't say that coming out of an ad for our brand new sponsor that's paying us money. Jeremy is working potentially, or he said that he may work on bumper music.
No way.
Yeah. So we have the best unpaid interns. He's doing bumper music. Jen's building us a Wikipedia page. I don't know what's going on, but we're grateful. All right. I want to start off by saying thank you to my friend Ben Wallace for recommending this story.
Ooh, I like Ben.
Ben is great, and Ben is not only does he what?
He's very bad at code names. I just want to make that clear. He's really bad at code names.
Well, we did demolish Ben at code names. That's true. He was playing with his son So I feel like he couldn't be as free as he wanted to be, maybe with his clues.
And who made that choice? And who made that choice?
That's true. That's true.
Well,
you know what? You made a good point. You circled all the way back to a good point. Ben is great, and he he sent me an article that was titled "Famous Writer's Ghost No Longer Haunts Landmark New York Hotel. Here's why." And I thought, this is great.
Okay.
So,
sounds kind of like the opposite of a ghost story.
Correct. So what we're doing today is a little bit of a departure. I'm going to tell you a story about a ghost that has been solved.
How do you like solve a ghost story? Do you like,
well, you can
finish their business for them, or
exactly. That's exactly right. Yes. You finish their business.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You exact revenge for them. You know,
correct.
you kill
you
their
murder
killer.
whoever they need. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. You have blood on your hands, and that frees them. Now, this is good because for the last, like a year and a half or so, we've been talking about how it seems to be that if you just will finish a ghost business, they will stop being a ghost.
Sure.
And here, finally, we have actual evidence from the very recent past about that happening. Are you ready?
Oh, absolutely.
Dorothy Rothschild was born in, 1893. Her parents were Jacob Henry Rothschild and Eliza Annie Rothschild. I guess Annie was a middle name.
Annie. Okay. Yeah.
Why not?
Does she always go by Eliza Annie?
Probably.
Okay.
I would.
Like a serial killer.
Yes. Eliza Annie Rothschild serial. Yes. Yeah.
So did you ever wonder growing up, like, why they did that? Like every serial killer had three names.
I did wonder. And then there was a time when I knew the answer. I knew why. Oh, is it? Do you know why, right?
Yes.
You're asking because can I take a
Please
guess at my own memory?
Absolutely.
Is it because they wanted to make sure that people who had the same first and last name weren't confused with them?
Bingo.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
Yep. Yeah.
So if there's another Clayton Smith, it's like, well, wait a minute. It's not Clayton Randall Smith, right? That would be a bad look for me.
Yeah, but like some guy named Clayton Smith just killed a bunch of people. I think we're gonna go through this neighborhood and find all the Clayton Smiths. We're gonna kill all of them. Yeah.
And actually, it's funny. I think it's not funny. I think there is actually a Clayton Smith who was a murderer in like the 90s, because you Google your own name sometimes.
Sure, of course.
And the most prominent Clayton Smith that comes up is, if I remember, it's been a long time since I've done this, but I think it is actually someone who was a murderer, not a serial killer though, and so there's no middle name attached to it.
Yeah,
so I really got fucked on that one.
Dude, either do it or don't do it. I mean, this in between shit is not benefiting either of us.
What are we doing here?
It's a lot better. There used to be a Patrick Thomas Dean on the no-fly list in the U.S. That was not a fun year to go through. Not being able to check in online for anything, not being able to check luggage, having to get to talk to TSA every single time I went to the airport, all because some guy probably got drunk on a flight to Newark and got us both into a lot of trouble.
And was it you? Maybe. Hard to say. I
don't have a lot of recollection of it.
To Newark. We're making a really good case for naming your child Apple, and I hate that. But now suddenly it makes a lot of sense.
Or you can name your child like Lee Harvey Oswald. Either way.
I guess you could. If you wanted to.
It'd be so funny. 1940, very popular name among children, Lee Harvey Oswald. But by 1971, down to zero. Really
fell off. It was, It's in that we put it in the Adolf Hitler category. Not a lot of those anymore.
Was it Adolf Hitler or Adolf Lee Hitler?
Good. It's good to be fair. Good question. Thank you.
Adolf Oswald Hitler.
Okay, so we're 2 lines into the notes. So Dorothy was born. Oh, and here's a fun fact. One of Dorothy's. No, sorry. Yes. God, that toilet is so loud.
So someone is running the sink and flushing the toilet right now.
That feels like a waste of water.
Well, I'm trying to.
Although I guess if you flush a toilet, you want to also wash your hands. You don't want to wait till the toilet's done to wash your hands. So
if I recall correctly, though, it was the opposite order. I believe it was sink first, then toilet.
Well, that is confusing.
Now toilet continues. So
do they know the function of each one?
I mean, on a podcast about mysteries, it seems like this one is ripe for the solving.
Should we take your equipment upstairs?
Hey, what are you doing with the divining rod up here? Just go back in the bathroom. Just go back. Yep.
Shut up. Anyway, so Dorothy, this is a fun fact that Dorothy's uncle Martin was a passenger on the Titanic.
Oh, was a passenger?
He didn't make it.
Oh, it's a shame.
Yeah. Anyway, Dorothy was born at her parents' summer beach cottage at 732 Ocean Avenue in Long Branch, New Jersey.
Sounds nice.
It does sound nice. After she was born, her parents are like, "Oh no, we can't have a New Jersey baby." So they very quickly returned to their Manhattan apartment. Thank goodness.
Mm-hmm.
We've all been to New Jersey.
Yeah.
And we all understand that choice. So Dorothy Rothschild was raised in New York. Now, her mother died in 1898. It was just 1 month before Dorothy's 5th birthday. Her father remarried 2 years later, and it's widely believed that Dorothy hated her father and that he possibly physically abused her.
Okay.
Also widely believed that she hated her stepmother, who she referred to as, quote, the housekeeper.
I would say that pretty much that solves that little mystery right there.
Yeah.
She may not care for her, as she refers to her as the housekeeper.
Yeah. Now, I will say, in all fairness, her biographer disputes all this and says that she actually had a happy childhood. So everyone else says terrible childhood. One person who was her biographer said actually good childhood. So hard to say. We'll never know. Anyway, Dorothy was sent to Catholic school, even though her father was Jewish and her stepmother was Protestant. Any questions?
I mean, do they have a good like STEM program or something? I'm not sure.
Yeah, probably. I assume it was a very good school. They had a lot of money for a while, and this was during that period. Yeah.
Who hasn't sent their kid to a conflicting religion school because they have a good what's the scoring thing they do for grade schools? I can't remember the name of it now.
I'm just gonna let the dead air hang until you figure out what you're talking
really
about.
Appreciate
I do not know. You have a lot more experience with this stuff than I do. But I guess I send my child to a conflicting school. Is that what this is about? Me.
Do
Abel's
you?
in a Catholic school right now, which I am also. I have that, but we don't.
Well, but again, you wanted to be a doctor. That's the way it's going to work.
I guess so. Yes, all doctors are Catholic, and that's well documented. Now, so Dorothy goes to Catholic school. Now, she later on in life, she said that she was once asked to leave this school, or to leave a class, I should say, after she referred to the Immaculate Conception as, quote, spontaneous combustion.
I mean,
which is pretty good. Now, her stepmother died in 1903 when Dorothy was 9. So the mothers are they're
dropping like flies.
They're dropping flies. Yes, absolutely.
So we have a potentially abusive dad, 2 dead wives.
It's normal.
Yeah.
This was like 1903. Yeah. Dorothy should just be grateful she lived this long, quite frankly, given the track
reminds her
record.
That every day. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So, I don't know. I certainly don't want to be sued for slander here. So we won't draw any aspersions there, but her stepmother died in 1903, and then her father got sick and he had to stop working. I don't know what the sickness was, but he had to stop working. At this point, they lost most of their wealth. So Dorothy dropped out of school and, quote, learned to rely on her smarts. Now, her father eventually did pass about in 1913 when she was 18 years old. So now Dorothy's on her own.
Well, I mean, she's 18. I mean, she's...
Oh, yeah.
She's a
1913, 18, which is basic. She's pretty close to the nursing home. So Dorothy wanted to be a writer when she grew up, and specifically she was interested in poetry. So after her father's death, she found some odd jobs to kind of keep herself in in life, I guess, just food and stuff.
Odd poetry jobs?
No, thank you for asking. No, she
okay.
played piano at a school of dance.
Okay.
Yeah, before they had, Spotify. She played piano school dance in order to earn a living, but she did work on her poems too. And in 1914, she sold her first poem, and she sold it to Vanity Fair magazine.
Oh wow!
So she's a real deal. Yes,
clearly.
Yeah. A few months later, she was hired as an editorial assistant for Vogue, which I think was owned by the same company as Vanity Fair at that point.
They're similar. Makes sense.
Yeah. And after 2 years at Vogue, she moved over to Vanity Fair as a staff writer. So she's moving up the ladder very quickly.
Wow, like a Devil Wears Prada type career arc here. I like this.
Yeah, I think so. I've never seen that movie. What's it about?
It's good. It's good.
I know Meryl Streep is real mean in it.
Yeah,
she's Anna Wintour, right?
Yeah, Anne Hathaway, I think, plays the
assistant.
Yeah, it's like an assistant or something like that, and just kind of gets abused the entire time. Very good movie.
Sounds fun. Sounds like a blast. Check it out. Man, speaking of the things that we watch, because we don't get to watch things anymore because we have children. I started on my own because Aaron doesn't want to watch it. So I had a day off today. So I started watching The Fall of the House of Usher.
Oh, what's that about?
It is about the fall of a house of
ushers. Yeah.
Do you know the Poe?
Like a movie theater. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Do you know the Poe story, Fall of the House of Usher?
Is it not closely? No. Is that the one where like death shows up?
That's the Death of the Red Mask.
Okay. Then no, I don't know what it is.
But this is but the whole show is based on all of Poe's stuff. This one is very loosely, very, very loosely based on Fall of the House of Usher, but it works in all his work. So the Red Mask, Red Mask of Death, not Death of the Red Mask. Sorry. I've just embarrassed myself. The Red Mask of Death shows up, like and all the characters are named different character names from all of Poe's work and stuff. So it's all, it's a whole thing. Anyway, it's by the people who did Haunting of Hill House.
Oh yeah.
Bly Manor.
Yep.
And 2 episodes in, and hoo boy. Not what I was expecting. Real good, pretty scary. Lots of nudity, which I was not expecting.
And when does this come on again?
Sorry. Do you need to go right now? And
I have 2 eyes. We can do both these things.
Oh yeah, she moved to Vanity Fair. And then in 1917, Dorothy meets a stockbroker named Edwin Pond Parker II. There was a line break there, and that really threw me. Edwin Pond Parker II, and they were married not long after they met. And this marriage didn't go great. They divorced in 1928, 11 years later. So they were, they were together for a while, but they did eventually divorce. But when they divorced, she kept her married name for the rest of her life. So you may know her as Dorothy Parker.
But not Dorothy.
You don't know. Okay.
Dorothy
this is like an Annabelle thing, right? No, this is
I mean, technically her name would be Dorothy Pond Parker II.
Well, I think Pond was his middle name.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure the second transfers.
I think it's like probably it's on the end there.
Amy's not Amy Thomas Dean, So as far as I know, anyway, so maybe she is.
So yeah, that's actually one of June's little jokes is that she thinks everyone in the house's middle name is Thomas. So.
That's very good. It's very good.
Yeah,
eggs on my face then.
Well, when do you think people stopped using the second and started using Junior though? Because the second, I don't know.
It's kind of weak, right?
Is that a class thing? That sounds like a class thing.
I think it's a class thing.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how you know. That's why Don Jr. is a real piece of shit.
Yeah.
He doesn't go by Donald Trump II. Yes, correct.
That's probably one of the things like the plebes, they can't be expected to count. So, they will continue.
Certainly not in Roman numerals.
They will continue being Edward Pond Jr.
Edward Pond Jr.'s Jr. is the next one, and so on and so forth. Anyway, Dorothy Parker, that rings no bells for you, probably, I guess. Very, very famous contemporary American author.
Cool.
Early 20th century. I mean, just blisteringly famous.
Really?
Just a person that you should know for sure.
And is she taught throughout a lot of engineering curriculum? Is she?
I can't speak to that because I haven't taken that
Right.
curriculum. Now, my background in journalism and marketing,
which is the
and
opposite.
writing,
Yeah.
and teaching English and stuff. Yeah, we've done a lot of Dorothy Parker work in my sphere.
Interesting. Your sphere is like on the other side of my sphere, though.
It's
That's
completely different. It's completely different. Our spheres are like two planets that do not crash together.
No.
Yeah. So anyway, Dorothy Parker is very famous, and this is similar to Annabelle last week, where when I said Annabelle and you made no reaction, and I'm sure people were just screaming. There are some people who heard Dorothy Parker and they went ah, and then it's so hard. It's hard for me when you don't react that way. I got to stop putting big reveals in here, I guess, because you don't care about them.
Is she a jazz musician?
No.
Okay.
No.
What does she do? She just writes.
She writes.
Okay.
A lot of poetry.
Okay.
Not only poetry. You'll know some of the things that she's worked on. We'll get there.
Okay.
So Dorothy's career really takes off in 1918 when a writer named P.G. Wodehouse went on vacation. Now, I know you don't know who P.G. Wodehouse is either. I'm here to tell you he's fantastic.
Okay.
P.G. Wodehouse, I think I didn't know this actually, but his name is Pelham Grenville Wodehouse.
Yeah, that's a classic short name right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he goes on vacation and yeah, sounds super British. He goes on vacation, and this is an opening for Dorothy.
That's correct. Yes. Now Wodehouse, he's a really great author. He's a humorist. He's very, very fucking funny. Like if you like dry British wit, very good. He has a book that I have in my library upstairs called Leave It to Smith. Smith with a silent P. And it's very PSMITH. Yeah. It's very good, and he's great. Anyway, so Wodehouse, this is important. This might ring a bell. He invented Jeeves, the character Jeeves. You know, like how Jeeves, the idea of Jeeves, the butler, like the quintessential English stiff upper lip butler. Yeah. Wodehouse invented that character.
Interesting.
It became so popular, people just started using that as kind of shorthand for all Jeeveses.
Interesting.
Yeah,
that's one of those classic names where as soon as you name a kid, Jeeves,
his future is set. For
can you imagine all the like the young adults that were at that time who were named Jeeves. And were doing like masonry and butchery and stuff like that, and everyone's like, "Oh, I heard you're a butler now, Mister Jeeves."
Hey Jeeves. Jeeves.
I'm gonna murder that PG whatever the fuck guy.
That's tough.
I swear to God, I'll kill him. My name isn't Jeeves Harvey Oswald.
So at the time, P.G. Wodehouse was a theater critic for the Vanity Fair, and he had to go on vacation, as people do. And so while he was on vacation, Dorothy filled in for him, and her reviews were very popular. So people were like, "Give us more Dorothy." Now she didn't take his job, but they were so good that like, the readers like, we need to find a place for her. During this time, she became close with Robert Benchley and Robert Sherwood. Because she likes Roberts a lot.
Who doesn't? Are they famous as well?
Kind of, yeah. So Benchley was a popular humorist. He won an Academy Award in 1935 for his short film, How to Sleep. And I thought, is that the best thing?
Expectations of cinema back then, very, very low.
But then I found something even better. He is best known as the grandfather of Peter Benchley, who wrote Jaws.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, the name sounded familiar. All right.
Yeah. So
okay, now you're back in my wheelhouse here.
I love that you know who wrote Jaws, but you don't know who Dorothy Parker is. All right, very good. And then the other Robert Sherwood wrote the screenplay for Rebecca. Did you ever see Rebecca?
I have seen Rebecca.
Yeah. Rebecca and the Bishop's Wife, which is a very popular movie at that time as well. Remade by Denzel Washington during our childhood as the preacher's wife.
Yep. That's true.
Yep. Anyway, so they were kind of big deals too. So the three of these people, and this is important, the three of them start meeting for lunch most days at the Algonquin Hotel in New York City.
Oh my gosh, these are like, this is like a Marvelous Miss Maisel type type lifestyle here.
That's right.
Okay.
If you could afford lunch at a hotel almost every day, oh my God, you're really something. The Algonquin is located at 44th Street in New York between 5th and 6th Avenues. Still there, by the way. And then, until recently, pretty haunted.
Really?
By the ghost of Dorothy Parker.
Oh, makes sense.
So the Algonquin opened in 1902. And at that point, single rooms cost $2 a night.
Is that a
now,
lot?
I don't know, but I want you to know, I did look up how, so I researched this on Friday and I looked up. So as of this past weekend, can you guess how much one night in a room costs? Again, 1902, $2 a night. 2023.
I'm going to guess $300 a night.
$934 a night.
That seems high. It seems
Inflation
awful high.
is a real bitch.
I mean, I'm sure that's like what a whole month's rent in New York costs.
We're gonna get so much mail from New York. But yeah, about $1,000 a night for this hotel.
Goodness, I can only imagine what lunch would cost.
Can't be worth it. But it was, and it is still, but it was then a pretty swanky spot. And in 1919, when Dorothy and the Roberts started lunching there, other contemporary writers wanted to join in on the fun. And so some of them started joining them. And so it became this whole like kind of almost everyday lunch group. Soon there were a large group of regulars that came to be known as the Algonquin Round Table. Members of the Round Table included Franklin Adams, Alexander Wolcott, Harold Ross, Edna Ferber, Haywood Braun, and Harpo Marx.
Oh.
Yeah, we got one. We got one, everybody.
Was he the silent one? I don't remember.
He was the silent one.
So that's pretty boring. Yeah.
In movies and at the table. He was very boring. Now this became something of a salon, like the classic idea of a salon where you get together and you share art. They would all share ideas. They would read excerpts from things they were working on. And Franklin Adams was a newspaper columnist, and he would sometimes publish parts of their conversations in newspapers in New York. Seems a little bit dicey.
Like, you got to tell people you're going to do that, right?
And I assume that he did,
yeah,
but I don't know for sure.
Once Dorothy returned from an extremely long trip to the bathroom, we began discussing...
The whole restaurant smelled rather foul, but we didn't bring it up.
Until now.
Write us in, readers, and let us know what you think about that. Through the publicity that she got from those articles, though, Dorothy begins to develop a nationwide reputation as a very clever wit. So to emphasize this for you, here are some very good quotes from Dorothy Parker. I hate writing. I love having written. Now that one resonates with me a lot. Writing is the worst, but like having written a book is very good. If you have any young friends who aspire to become writers, the second greatest favor you can do them is to present them with copies of the Elements of Style. The first greatest, of course, is to shoot them now while they're happy. I'd rather have a bottle in front of me than a frontal lobotomy.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. When asked if she was going to join Alcoholics Anonymous, she said, "Certainly not. They want me to stop." She said, "Money cannot buy health, but I'd settle for a diamond-studded wheelchair." And let's see. I don't think I wrote this down. There was one where maybe I wrote this down later, but there was one that is, I'm going to butcher it a little bit probably, but she's like, martinis are tough. After one martini, I don't feel great. After 2 martinis, I feel good. After 3 martinis, I'm under the table. And after 4 martinis, I'm under the host. And then maybe my personal favorite, you can lead a horticulture, but you can't make her think. So she's having a lot of fun.
Yeah, clearly.
Yeah.
Some good lunches here, obviously.
Yeah. So people all over the country are falling in love with Dorothy Parker. And she also used to say that the first thing I do in the morning is brush my teeth and sharpen my tongue. And she did indeed become very well known for having a very sharp tongue. But the wit that brought her that fame didn't always work in her favor. On January 11th, 1920, she was fired from Vanity Fair because in her theater criticism, she had offended too many powerful people, including, I have two names here. I think you could guess both of them.
Barnum and Bailey.
God, good answers. Absolutely so wrong.
The guy that Hugh Jackman plays in Greatest Showman. Wait, that is Barnum and Bailey, isn't it? Okay, I'm sorry. I don't know anybody else.
Sorry, I just spit my drink out a little bit. That's fine. Billy Burke. Name sound familiar?
No.
We did just talk about Billy Burke in the Peg Entwistle episode.
Oh, okay.
She was the actress who you probably remember what movie she was in, what role she played.
Yeah. She was the one that played lesbian?
Nope, that was Peg. That was the star of that.
Yeah,
that episode. But Billy Burke was the actress who played.
Oh, in The Wizard of Oz.
Boy, yep.
Yeah,
she did play Glinda.
Mm-hmm.
So Dorothy pissed off Billy Burke, and she also pissed off theater impresario, producer extraordinaire, director and writer extraordinaire,
William Sondheim.
God, David Blasco. Okay. Also, who's William Sondheim?
Isn't he the guy that did the Sondheim stuff?
Stephen Sondheim.
I'm sorry.
Jesus Christ.
You know what I meant. You knew what I meant.
Barely. I barely did.
Okay, we can cut back in Stephen Sondheim in the audio later.
No, I don't think we should. No. No. I'm giving you no quarter on that one. Anyway, so yeah, Billy Burke complained about her. David Blasco complained about her, both of which we've talked about in previous episodes. And,
allegedly.
Okay. And she was fired. Robert Benchley, the humorist who grandfathered the Jaws writer, he resigned in protest when she was fired. He said, "Fuck this, I'm out." And they probably said, "Oh,
yeah, which one are you again?"
Let us know when your grandson can hold a pencil." And I love this move. Robert Sherwood, the other Robert, he told people that he also resigned in protest, but actually he had gotten fired a few weeks earlier, which is a very good move.
I've been waiting for an opportunity to get out from underneath of this.
Oh, so lucky. Yeah, I also did that. Oh boy. But anyway, so after she was fired from Vanity Fair, this was upsetting for her, but her career actually kind of exploded because in 1925, Harold Ross, which is one of the Algonquin Roundtable members, he founded a magazine called The New Yorker.
I've heard of that.
Thank God. Thank Christ, because I can't keep doing this with you. So he decided to create a new magazine, and Dorothy Parker is one of the founding editors. So she helped establish The New Yorker. Over the next 15 years, she had pieces published in a lot of really big publications, some of which I hope you've heard of. The New Yorker, Vogue, Life, McCall's.
Serial. McCall. Yep. I know that one. Yep.
Okay. The New Republic, and also Vanity Fair, which is probably awkward, but there.
Hey, if they're going to pay for it, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. She also published several collections of poetry, and her first was called Enough Rope. Is enough rope to hang yourself. And the New York Times dismissed it as, quote, FlapperVerse, which I'll be honest, sounds awesome.
I cannot wait for the Marvel Cinematic Universe
to become
get away from all this multiverse stuff and go back to FlapperVerse.
Oh my God.
I think we'll all be a lot
Everyone
happier.
Is just Jay Gatsby and Daisy Buchanan. God, that sounds great. Do you know who those people are?
Yeah, from The Great Gatsby.
Okay, thank God. I just don't know anymore.
Well, because you said his name.
Oh, right. So Dorothy also wrote a few plays, some of which had some success. She wrote acerbic book reviews for the New Yorker under the name Constant Reader. And it's maybe my favorite thing of the whole show. Her review for AA, you know who AA Milne was?
Yeah. Sure.
Okay. What did AA Milne create and write?
Winnie the Pooh.
Okay, good. Thank God.
Yeah.
So her
Please,
review,
please, did she have a scathing review of Winnie the Pooh?
yeah, she does. Her review for A.A. Milne's The House at Pooh Corner was, quote, "Content we'da flowed up." And that is phonetic. Which is so funny.
Oh. Oh.
I died reading that.
Oh.
It's so good. It took me a while to figure out these aren't words. And then, when you sound them out and they become the best words.
Oh. I don't really think it's intended for her, though, right? I mean,
I don't think she's the target audience. No, I don't think so. But she flowed up.
Mm.
In 1929, she won the O. Henry Award for her short story Big Blonde. And in 1932, she met an actor named Alan Campbell. The two of them were married, even though she kept her Parker surname. She was very popular at this point. But they were married, and after they were married, Dorothy learned that Alan was bisexual and later stated publicly that he was, quote, "queer as a billy goat."
Are they really queer?
I don't know.
I mean,
I have not previously been privy to any particular queerness from billy goats.
It seemed pretty normal to me. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're saying that queer people are abnormal. Interesting. Interesting. Do you want to expound on that, Patrick?
Isn't that the general? The
show canceled.
Yeah. I mean, it's either that or every billy goat is, which means that doesn't really work either.
That's true. It's very confusing, I guess. Anyway, Campbell wanted to act and write for Hollywood, and Dorothy, of course, wanted to write. So they go out to Hollywood, and they signed a joint 10-week contract for Paramount, where they said, we both work for Paramount and we both get paid. And in this contract, Alan earned $250 a week, and Dorothy earned $1,000 per week.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Sugar mama. I like this.
It's amazing. I love that shit. Now, they worked really well together. They earned writing credits for over 15 films. One of them was the 1937 movie A Star is Born, which won, Best Writing, Original Story. It was nominated for Best Picture, Best Actor, Best Actress, Best Director, Best Assistant Director, Best Screenplay. And Dorothy Parker was nominated as part of Best Screenplay.
Wow.
Yeah. She also became a powerful advocate for civil liberties. She helped found the Hollywood Anti-Nazi League in 1936, which was good. I don't know if many people know this, because I didn't know this until the last several years, but there was the Nazis had German-American buns all over the country. Did you learn this ever?
German-American what?
Like they're called the buns, BUNDS.
Oh. Yes. Yeah.
Nazi
big,
support
like,
groups, basically, rallies, like all over the country before Hitler really started going to town. And so Nazis were here all over America before World War II. And she founded the Hollywood Anti-Nazi League. She said, "This is bad.
This is bad. I can see it's coming from a mile away. This seems like real bad stuff, guys."
Yeah. Nazis actually held a rally at Madison Square Garden on February 20th, 1939. So it's a wild part of our history that we don't typically learn in grade school or high school.
And we won't ever learn it again.
We will not. We'll not learn about how it's repeating itself at all. Anyway, Dorothy fought against Nazis, which is awesome. Because of her ongoing fight against fascism, she was eventually listed, of course, as a communist by Joseph McCarthy. That's what we do. That got her on the Hollywood blacklist. So she could no longer work in Hollywood. Now, her marriage to Alan Campbell was tumultuous. After they were married, she started drinking a lot more. He had an affair with a woman in Europe. That was problematic. They got divorced in 1947. They did remarry in 1950. They divorced again in 1952. It's like, listen to your heart, Yeah. She started drinking more and more, and her writing became, quote, erratic. So this is where things start to turn really hard. Now, again, she's blacklisted from Hollywood. And now she's having trouble finding places for her writing because her alcohol is becoming a problem. Alan Campbell died in 1963 from a drug overdose. And so Dorothy moved back to New York. She cobbled together work for a little while until she died from a heart attack on June 7th, 1967, at the age of 73. And this is where shit gets wild. So pretty soon after her death, and I don't say this enough. So every week I put the sources for all these stories in the show notes. And I just want to really call out one in particular here. This week, there was an article from, where is it? The New Yorker, of course.
Of all places.
Of all places, of course, the New Yorker. And it's called The Improbable Journey of Dorothy Parker's Ashes. It's by Lori Gwen Shapiro. It's a wild art. It's so good, and it is insane. That's where most of what's coming up comes from. Highly recommend you go check it out, because we're going to talk about a lot of it, but boy, oh boy, it's wild. So pretty soon after her death, Dorothy's ghost starts haunting the Algonquin Hotel. And I do want to go ahead.
She doesn't die in the Algonquin, though.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's a very good question to be asking. We're going to talk about that later.
Okay.
I want to get back to the whole ghost thing, but before we do, I want to, the circumstances of her death, of her post-death, I guess I should say, are so wild. She had named her friend Lillian Hellman as the executioner of her will. No, probably the executor of her will.
I was going to say, I mean,
I
seems
feel
like
this may be a
it'd be weird to use that title for two parts of the job, you know.
I'm the executioner. Which one? I have a law degree.
Yeah.
Oh. But I also have this axe.
That's right. Well, now I'm back to not knowing again.
Sorry, the executor of her will. But Dorothy called her the executrix of her will, even though she's female. That's a little funny joke. So she made her friend Lillian the executor, but when Lillian read the will, she learned that Dorothy had left her nothing. And she was very angry about that.
But how can you be the executor of the will and you don't preview it? How does that work?
I don't know. That's a good. I think I don't
that was
think you have to. I could just be like, Patrick Dean has to make sure that all these things come to pass, and like it or not, he gets nothing.
I wonder if it's like a house guard in the hen house, like a fox guard in the hen house type thing. Where you can't see what you got to execute, because otherwise you'd just be sitting there with a whiteout, like, nope, not going to do that, not going to do that, not going to do that. This goes to me. That goes to me.
Yeah. So I don't know, but Dorothy left her nothing. She was very mad. She claimed that Dorothy must have been drunk when she wrote the will. Now, this may have been true, but I don't know that it is legally important or not. And maybe it is. I do not know. I'm not a lawyer. Anyway, what I do know is that Lillian then ordered all of Dorothy's things to be thrown away.
If I can't have her crap, no one can.
Yep, exactly. Now, Dorothy had also requested a quiet cremation, but Lillian, again, was so mad, she basically said, fuck you, and she organized a very public memorial on the Upper East Side.
On a beautiful pike atop the Algonquin.
Is that her head? Ah! Why is Lillian drinking the blood that's coming down from it? That's weird. Worth noting, a court did eventually strip Lillian of her control over Dorothy's estate.
Yeah.
But in her will, Dorothy left nothing to Lillian because she bequeathed her entire estate to Martin Luther King Jr.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah.
Good for her.
Yeah. Now, upon learning that he'd inherited all of Dorothy Parker's worldly possessions, which included the royalty rights to her work, which are pretty lucrative, King was baffled and said he had never even heard of Dorothy Parker.
Ooh. I mean, she's dead now. She's not offended, but at the same time,
right? So wow,
doesn't do a whole lot for the royalties, you know.
But in the will, Dorothy, I guess, knowing that that King wouldn't know who she was, she had also made this. She'd written this line that said that if anything ever happened to King, her estate would then go to the NAACP.
Oh, okay.
Which, in hindsight, was very good planning because 10 months later, Martin
Mhm.
Luther King was assassinated at the Lorraine Motel in Memphis. And all of her assets did then go to the NAACP, and they still, I think, control the rights of her work today.
Wild. I
Yeah.
had no idea.
Yeah, I also did not. Now, you didn't know who she was, so that makes sense that you wouldn't know.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know anything about this story, to be quite honest. First time I recognized Martin Luther King, and he doesn't really last very long in this story.
And we saw the Lorraine Motel last year.
We did. We did.
That is a hell of a memorial. What they have done to that is really
Yeah.
incredible. Yeah, if you haven't been to the Lorraine Motel in Memphis, it's very powerful. They've taken the motel and made it a museum, and they've done a hell of a job. It's really great. But Dorothy was cremated, and that was fine, but no one ever came to collect the ashes. And so they just sat there on a shelf for years. And again, this is a very popular, famous person.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure the people working in there probably took like a teaspoon home with them or something like that. You know,
what would you do with a teaspoon of a famous person's ashes?
I'd put it in a teeny tiny like film canister and put a little sticker on the top of it, and I would just know. Like,
T for later.
Yeah.
T for when need powerful.
Dorothy Parker ashes. Do not put into tea.
Do not drink.
Yeah.
Now, no one ever paid the storage fees, so the morgue is getting pretty upset. And finally, in 1973, the people at the crematory, they were just like, well, fuck this. They sent the urn to the address listed on her paperwork. Now, the address was for the office of her lawyer, Oscar Bernstein, but Bernstein had retired and his partner, Paul O'Dwyer, had taken over. Paul O'Dwyer did not know Dorothy Parker.
See, it's becoming more and more popular as the story goes on. People not knowing who Dorothy Parker is. I feel like I'm in good
so
company
you're really riding the
do.
wave there.
Yeah,
that's true.
So far, I got Martin Luther King on my side.
That's a big one. That's a big get.
And a blood-sucking lawyer, which doesn't help. But
so O'Dwyer, he gets the urn and he's like, I don't know what to do with this. What do I do with this?
Yeah.
What would you do? What do you think you would do?
What would I do with it? I mean, this is again, we're assuming we don't know who this person is.
Right.
Right.
I mean, you probably know that she is like a famous person, but you don't find her famous.
Maybe,
you know,
like there's no Google, right?
That's true. That's true.
I mean, if like a big canister of ashes shows up on my front porch, I'm not going to go down to like the library, like open up the card catalog and be like, oh, I wonder if this is a famous author. I'm probably going to be like, this is a crazy person who accidentally had their shit shipped to my old retired lawyer's office, and now it's going in the can. That's where it's going.
Trash. You would throw away ashes.
I would absolutely, yeah.
A human person's ashes into the trash can.
I have no proof this is an actual person. This could be an elaborate prank.
It did come from a crematorium.
Maybe you call the crematorium and say, look, was this person famous or not?
Okay. If they say this person was a real person, if you know they are a real person's ashes, then what do you do? Do you still throw them in the trash?
No, I probably, but again, there's no Google. There's no Google. So what do I do in this case?
So what do you do? What do you do? What do you do?
What year is this?
1973.
Well, I put them in the bottom drawer of my desk.
Bingo. He put her ashes into a file cabinet in his desk. That is exactly what he did.
Well, see,
I'm drawer and said,
feeling pretty good about it.
It's done.
That is a tomorrow problem.
So her ghost starts being seen at the Algonquin Hotel right around this point. And we are going to talk about that more in a second, but I want to stay with the ashes for just a second because it gets weirder. So in the early 1980s, so almost a decade later, an actor named Malachi McCourt comes to O'Dwyer's office. So the ashes are sitting in his desk for 10 years. Now Malachi is talking to O'Dwyer. They're shooting the shit. He tells a story about how he met Dorothy Parker at a party in 1961. He had made a pass at her and she had totally ripped him apart saying, gosh, I didn't write it down, but there was some, damn, I can't believe I forgot the quote. There's a quote. Read the article that I referenced earlier. It's a great burn. And he was like, I loved that. I loved that she didn't like me at all. I loved her playing hard to get. And then O'Dwyer asks him if he wants to see Dorothy again.
This has been the longest build up to a prank I have ever seen.
Yes.
Like, and then would you believe?
And McCourt says, well, yeah, but I think she's dead. O'Dwyer goes to his desk and he opens a file cabinet and he pulls out Dorothy's urn and says, "So here she is again." And McCourt says, "Oh my God, how are you, Dorothy?"
And she says,
they just make a joke. And then McCourt leaves after that. And O'Dwyer puts her back into the cabinet and leaves them there until 1988. She's been there for 15 years.
I mean, there's no other good, like, prank opportunities have probably come up.
No, I'm sure he was living for this moment for sure.
Dorothy Parker, you say? Dorothy Parker.
Finally.
Just want to make sure I heard that right.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I'll be right back.
I've been waiting for this.
You're like dragging furniture in the other room. What are you doing back there? You will love this.
Just
keep it in mind.
Just come on.
Chill. Yeah. Hang on, I got a couple of these things to go through back here.
I don't remember which one she's in, but hold on.
Parker. Ooh, Parker. Yeah.
God. So again, she's a national treasure, and her ashes have been in a file cabinet for 15 years at this point. And now, again, she's haunting the Algonquin all this time, which we will talk about eventually. But in 1988, O'Dwyer was finally like, I'm 81 years old. I should probably figure out what to do with these ashes before I die, because people will ask questions.
Yeah.
And he decides, which this is not a good plan, but it is probably the exact plan I would come up with. He decides to hold a cocktail party at the Algonquin Hotel because it was a very important hotel. And also her ghost has been seen there. So he holds a cocktail party at the Algonquin, and he invites a lot of Dorothy Parker's scholars, because there are bodies of work written about her work, right? So he invites all these scholars, and they all show up. They don't know why they're there, except for like a Dorothy Parker themed cocktail party. Sure. And O'Dwyer then shows up. He sets her urn on a table and is like, "What do you think we should do with this?" And they have some ideas. One person says they should display the urn at the Algonquin, just like have it on a shelf there.
Yeah, makes perfect sense. Yep, put up above like the whiskey bottles and stuff.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. But the manager pops into the room. He's like, "Absolutely not. We're not doing dead stuff here. No way."
Do you know how expensive a liquor license is? Imagine how much a dead person license is.
The liability on this is way too much. We're going to have to charge people $934 a night for a room if we do that. Come on.
They didn't want me to mark it up from $2 to $3. What do you think I say when I say they want $932? They're going to say no.
No, they're going to say no. Someone else offered to mix her ashes with paint and paint her portrait so she could live on.
Sounds like a pretty cheap way to do it.
Sure. I wouldn't hate that. I think that's interesting.
Yeah.
Someone else suggested that she should be encased in a bar to honor her love of drinking. Doesn't feel feels less right, I guess.
You know what she loved doing? You mean the thing that contributed to her poor health and ultimate death? Yeah. But she was so happy when she did it.
That's how she went out, right? And one person, God, honest to God, this is a true story. One person did suggest wrapping her ashes in paper like cocaine and divvying them up among the crowd so you could do what you want with them. So these people are all nuts. And
obviously.
But one of the people at the meeting was Benjamin Hooks, who was director of the NAACP at the time. And the NAACP had just moved their headquarters from New York to Baltimore. And he was like, "Well, we could take her. She left us all her stuff. Like, we could take her." And O'Dwyer, I guess, is like, "Well, that's the least horrible idea I've heard all night." So they did. They built a site for her burial in a grassy area next to the in a grassy area next to the parking lot behind the NAACP's offices in Baltimore.
So this is just a grassy spot in the alley. So
yes,
they just went out there with a spade, and
that is absolutely what happened.
Here you go, Dorothy.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
Thanks for all the residual checks. Really.
Yep. Yeah. I don't know if it's better than a file cabinet, to be totally honest.
It's definitely not better than the paint idea.
It's really insane. So that's what they do. Now, during this time of total dipshittery, Dorothy's ghost has been haunting the Algonquin Hotel. The question has come up before, like, why is she here? She didn't die here. But the suggestion is these are the best years of her life. Like this is where she loved to be, so it's where she wants to be in the afterlife.
If you could pick, then that's where you'd pick, basically.
Right. I mean, you're not. Some people do haunt where they die.
Mm-hmm.
I assume her apartment alone is probably not her choice.
Yeah.
So,
you would think apartment buildings just be like swollen with ghosts at that point.
Oh, it's got to be, especially in New York. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. This is ridiculous. Some ghosts haunt the places where they're buried. What are you going to fucking haunt a lawyer's office where you're in the file cabinet? Be serious. So she's at the Algonquin where she had the best years of her life. And her ghost has been seen there a lot. So she was seen walking through the hotel by basically like every guest who's ever stayed there has seen Dorothy Parker walking through the hotel. There was also, let's see, Elle magazine named the Algonquin as one of the 30 most haunted hotels in the world, noting that during renovations to the hotel, Parker's voice could be heard also, tearing the construction workers to absolute shreds.
You call that molding?
I'll show you molding. And she appeared and they were like, oh, fuck, you're molding. A photograph of her even flew off one of the walls and shattered on the floor during the construction time. And there's go ahead. You had a thought. I cut in. No? Okay. You sure?
Sure.
Okay. There's a pretty famous portrait on the of the Algonquin Round Table hanging in the lobby restaurant still today. It's got all the members there. Harpo Marx is in it, and all the other chuckleheads are in it, and Dorothy Parker is in it, of course. And actually, I can show you a picture of it.
Yeah, I have the ability to look at things.
Just as I'm saying this, I thought, well, maybe I should just show you it.
I wish Patrick could see this photo.
It's so good, Pat. You'd love it. I really wish that you could see it.
Too bad you got that eye surgery.
Too bad you had your eye teeth removed. So let's do this. This is it. These are our friends of the round table. This is Dorothy. With that
clearly
withering gaze.
And the only woman in the
which
painting.
One's Harpo? Either this one or this one is probably Harpo. Probably this one is Harpo Mark. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Anyway, that's Dorothy. The only woman, yes.
Yeah.
And so that painting hangs still by the lobby restaurant.
Is there a reason there was an upside down cat in that painting?
No.
Just curious.
No.
Okay. Fair enough.
Thank you for asking. Well, just normal stuff. And over the years, there have been many, and I mean, there have been a lot of children who have told their parents that the quote mean woman in the painting, is Dorothy, leaned out of the painting to shush them if they were being too loud or unruly.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one.
Can't say it like that.
Yeah. No. So that's horrifying. So she haunted the hotel for a really long time, but in the year of our Lord 2020, the NAACP moved its offices to Washington, D.C. And people are like, well, what do we do with Dorothy?
Well, number one, we have to figure out which parking spot she's under, because we just had the whole thing.
It's wild. Year. I mean, seeing the photos of where she was, it's really wild. So they dug up her urn and they brought the ashes back to New York. And they finally, I don't know why it took so fucking long, but they reinterred her in Woodlawn Cemetery in the Bronx next to her parents and grandparents. Oh. Feels like a thing you could have done literal decades ago. She was buried with her family 53 years after she died. And as soon as she was buried in an actual cemetery with her actual family and not in a fucking file cabinet or an alley, the ghost of Dorothy Parker disappeared from the Algonquin Hotel. The managers who used to see her very frequently have not seen her since 2020.
Wow.
There's an interview that I read with one of the guys who, the interviewer was the first one to tell him that her ashes had been reinterred. And he was like, oh my God, I had no idea. I guess that makes sense. I don't know how ghosts work, but
yeah,
I don't know. She just hasn't been here since this date. And they're like, that's the date she was buried.
Wow.
Whew. So no sightings have been reported since. So she is finally, at fucking long last, resting in peace. And again, there's some really great stuff in the articles that we didn't quite cover. So check out the show notes as always, because the links are all there to the articles that I use for sources. And that is a story of Dorothy Parker's ghost that is no longer haunting the Algonquin Hotel in New York. What do you think?
It's pretty exciting. I'm a little disappointed because I guess I won't be able to afford to stay in New York City.
But I don't
anymore.
have to because she's not there anymore.
Yeah.
So what's even the point? If you can't see a ghost of someone you've never heard of before, what's even the point of going? So you're fine.
Well, she knew the Jaws guy, so she's kind of famous, I guess.
Well, she knew the Jaws grandfather. I don't know if she knew the Jaws guy.
It's all connected. It's all a big FlapperVerse. It's all connected.
It's the FlapperVerse. And that's our show for this week. Is This a Ghost is a production of Smith Show Media. The notes and stuff are taken by me, Clayton Smith, and all the good jokes are normally told by Patrick Dean, who did have surgery this week. So, I don't know. I think you did a good job, though, I think, still.
I'll come back strong next time.
Yeah, but I think you did a good job today.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Do I get paid?
No. Our audio editor is Jeremy Montoya. Our video editor is Jen Swanson, and we are so grateful to them. Is there anything else that I need to credit? I don't think so. We'll see you again next week for what is honestly going to be a real good episode of Is This a Ghost? What are you drinking?
Water. It's just water. just trying to wash down all my fluids right now.
Great.
Because earlier today, I kind of was sitting on the couch watching a TV show. It was a TV show I'd watched yesterday as well, but I was sedated yesterday, so I didn't remember any of it. So I watched it again today, and like an hour into it, I thought to myself, "There's a lot of blood in my mouth. That's not right." So.
Well, it was an immersive experience because you were watching Invincible, right?
I was watching Invincible, and it was a very 4D experience. I'll give you that.
Yeah. I felt like J.K. Simmons was right here punching me in the face the whole time. It was awesome. Do you have stitches in your gums?
Oh yeah, all over.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Your tongue keep going like this?
Yeah. Well, because for my whole life I've not had stitches in my mouth, and so today I do, and so my tongue is like these don't belong here. This is so. Sure. I keep thinking there's like something stuck in there, or a hair or whatever. So that's a really unpleasant experience. So thankfully the drugs are helping out with that as well.
Now that most people get their wisdom teeth pulled 2 decades earlier than you've done it.
That's correct. My parents' excuse was, well, your sister needed braces. I was like, oh. And and they say, and I quote, I shit you not, and she's a girl, so that stuff's kind of important.
Oh my God.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, that's cool. So how is your self-worth?
I feel better now that those hideous wisdom teeth are pulled out of my head.
Jesus.
So,
and how are Kelly's teeth?
Flawless. Actually, no, her teeth are garbage. I think she has 12 molars, and only 2 of them are like not crowns or not pulled or not full of fillings. So,
but then again, I think she's doing it right. Crowns are the way to go.
Mm-hmm.
It's the way to go.
So,
money well spent.
Yeah, clearly. Flush that down the toilet.
Oh boy.